coming up tonight. We find out how the wrong ladder can get you 6 weeks off work, and a brand new iPhone. Rick upgrades his carpentry game. Gary changes a light bulb. And Gordon launches an inquest into who used a chop saw without dust extraction.
Welcome to eFIXX TV, your fortnightly live stream here on Facebook and on YouTube. And we've got a cracker tonight with the following title: Are you still falling for those ladder safety lies? And it is lies, folks. And we're going to unearth so many of those in this show that you're going to go and look at your own access equipment and possibly those of plasterers, painter and decorators, and laugh a little bit and maybe not pass your super knowledge on to them. And who's going to help us get that super knowledge today then, Gordon?
Well, we've got our friends from Telesteps, who I think are in the green room, along with another hanger on there. Who have we got there?
Gaunt Electrical from the Bradford area there. OK, so that's all good. So we've got Wayne over in there who's going to join us today, but we've got some horror stories. We're going to show you a couple at the start. OK, we're going to show you a little video clip of a horror story. And then, if you hold on, you'll see some more nasties before we go into all the great stuff that we're surrounded by.
Have a look. I think it's someone you've been acquainted with, Gary.
Well, it's a problem. So this is obviously he was at Joe Robinson's establishment there, and Joe's asked him to fit himself an outdoor camera so nothing in his caravan gets stolen. And this is a colleague of mine, Matthew Odell, so he sent me this clip. I don't know whether he was very proud of what he was doing or he's solved a problem. So you now watch, because the ladders are loosely held together, it will now drop onto the flat roof perfectly.
Nice.
Look
like
at that.
it.
And up you go. Now, this done millions of views on Facebook because everybody hoped he fell off. Unfortunately, Matthew didn't fall off, so everyone got to the end of it expecting him now to come through that roof, but he made the top. So well done, Matthew Odell there. So Matthew taught for 6 or 7 years. Ladder safety was uber important at the very start of any course. All safety aspects are, but ladder safety was, because if you couldn't get to the top of the ladder that we erected, you actually got moved into a course where access equipment wasn't required, because you can't be an electrician unless you can work at heights.
Right, so what course did they move into?
Normally painting and decorating, because it's a pair of steps and they never checked them for heights, where I made them go up a fully erect ladder.
Right.
Yeah. So,
what about the staircase?
Staircase, well, anyone can go up a staircase, that's how you get to the next room.
No, the bit where you got a paper above it.
No, you're
like
fine.
that.
If you can't, painting and decorating. They never checked anything, painting and decorating. OK, so there's some horror stories out there. We've got some fantastic photographs, but we've learned a lot today, haven't we? And we need some help from the audience, not only if you're watching this live, but if you're watching it on catch-up. Do you want a CPD on this? All you got to do is put CPD into the comments to suggest that we should go on a journey, and we're going to start that journey today in order to educate everybody in the construction industry. So just put CPD in the comments if that's something you'd be interested in.
Yeah, on ladders. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'll call it access equipment, because we got podiums or mini step-ups here.
Podiums, is that what you call it? Is
we've got, obviously, these are step ladders and ladders over there. So just pour them all together there, Gordon, for access equipment.
I've latched it up now, Gary. You're going to be step up to the podium.
Yeah, I can get on there. And
like
we'll
a gold medal? Were you a gold medal winner in the past?
Got a good story on the set we first got at college as well, and how I made one of my co-workers cry. It wasn't Matthew Odell, you never make that man cry, ex-army. OK, so interesting stuff that we're going to do. So get your comments in as well if you've had a moment on a pair of steps. Now, Sam from the Electricians podcast, he's got a great story. He was on a pair of steps for a small period of time, come off them and shattered his actual arm. OK, he asked the bloke whether he thought it was broke. He said, or dislocated. He said, no, that's definitely broke.
Right.
So, yeah, it was like, just pointing in the opposite direction. Have you got one of those stories? Have you got a story from a fellow person on site that come off some access equipment? Please keep it. If obviously the ending was beyond tragic, please don't put it in there. But if you've got a humorous story, or maybe one that you've done yourself, and we'll go through those as well.
Especially if they're ladder related as well.
Yes.
It'd be interesting though. Has anyone got telescopic steps? A bit like the ones behind us. We're going
Richard Gaunt has got some.
Richard, and we will be looking at them later on. But I am looking forward to this, Gary.
Yeah, because if nothing else, we get to have an hour and a half of mugging Richard off. OK, so Gaunt Electrical, Bradford area, if you look them up. So that's it. I think it's time to bring them in. Let's just get them in and get on with this awesome subject. All to do with ladder safety. Let's bring them in. Come on, Wayne. Come on, Richard. Here they come. Take the seat there, Wayne. Richard, if you want to take this one down here, we'll come to you at some point, no doubt, to mug you off. OK, Wayne, thank you ever so much. It's been an education, I would suggest today. Lots of stuff that we had no idea about, and we're always one of those barometers. If we haven't got a clue what you've been taking, hopefully the audience will learn something on the way, and maybe they can class this as a bit of CPD on its own. But I think a standalone one on ladders will be something. Hopefully CPD will be coming in the comments. But first of all, tell us 60 seconds so the audience can get used to you. Can you give a sprinkling of electrical knowledge in there? Because they're going to be betting on your race wall in a moment.
Well, unfortunately, I don't have an awful lot of electrical knowledge. I have been in the tool industry for about 30 odd years. I've been in hire, demonstrations, sales. and that's led me on to my role now as technical sales manager. But no, electrical isn't my bag. I actually come from initially an agricultural background, born and brought up on a farm, plant, driving tractors, diggers. I've worked in the industry, but sparks is always a technical side that I was kept out of.
Farmers like to do a bit of electrical work. We know that.
We can budget and scarper,
Yeah,
but I dare say a lot of your viewers aren't amongst that.
Fully qualified spark in the farming world. If you've got any idea about doing any electrical connections, we don't want you to tell too much about it, but your dad's got quite a good history, and we're going to do that in the second half of the show. So can you just tease a little bit, maybe a book that he's got into without telling us what he did?
Yeah, he's in the Guinness Book of Records.
All right, okay. Fastest person to wire a socket. Hopefully someone let him down. Talking of letdowns, how are you doing, Rick?
Not so bad, how are you?
You got 60 seconds. Tell the world all about Richard Gaunt.
What would you like to know?
Well, they'd like to know, Rick.
So in previous life, I did 15 years more materials testing, product testing, destructive and non-destructive, before moving on and then decided to retrain to be an electrician.
Okay. I'm going to come back to that about destructive materials later on, because Rick will have an extended story about some of his skill set, which will lead him down a path that he should not have gone down. However, what we've got to do now, Gordon, we've got obviously a little bit of a background. What are we in for now?
It is. Well, Rick has done the race well, so we can already go there. But we'd like to see how our guest compares to how other guests have done on the Electricians Challenge, which means everyone at home gets to join in as well. And it's really easy this week. You just have to put the time in the comments that you think Wayne completed the Electricians Challenge in. Is he hoodwinking you with his farming background, clearly wired lots of things in the barn with barely twine? Or is he complete novice when it comes to it and just drove over electrical equipment in a JCB? So
Yeah.
that's it. So
Get him in. If you get the fastest time or the closest fastest time, you only allow one guest. You'll get a chance to ring Jenny on the burner phone. And can we just keep it very polite in the comments surrounding Jenny? Obviously, she's a key member of our team, and I have to have the fallout if somebody's put something inappropriate in there. So if we can keep it nice and on a adult level for me, that'd be great. So is it going to be a really fast time? And you've already suggested, haven't you, Wayne, that you think personally you're going to be looking over at this board?
It's over this side.
Yeah,
It's got to be over this
Yeah,
side.
we suggested that maybe
David Barnes at Nipex was a target.
That was the one, yes.
because he had a tool background.
Yeah, somebody like that.
David, you're okay. So, yeah. So
they're
we'll
still
find out.
coming in. They're
Yeah,
still coming in.
Tom's
People are
coming in.
thinking middle.
CPDs as well. Do you want a CPD on ladders? Bang it in there as well. So we've got rid of that time. Okay, so I think now, giving people a few seconds to get them in, we're going to see your first race wall, Wayne. So it might not be your best one, but you'll get your best time. Okay, let's see how fast you're in again. Here we go, then, Wayne. Defend yourself at all times here, folks, because I'm going in. So we know it's Wayne up first, so here we go. So. Right, okay, so we've got a top bit of ink. We're going to talk about those internal tattoos on both arms at the minute.
Bothering with a screwdriver handle.
It's watched one of them before. Nobody uses that handle, so whoa, hang on. Yeah, it's a little thin. He's a nice gentleman. He's got ex-army in his background, folks. I'm not going to mention the loss of hair, so I'm going to be nice and polite to Wayne. So inside the arms, got a couple of tattoos there. We've got sweet and sour and chicken on the other one is what we've defined. And when we put it into ChatGPT, that came back for it. What does it allegedly say on the inside of your arms?
It's my children's names.
What, sweet and sour and chicken?
Yes, actually, yes.
It's really odd. So, and are you ever confirm the fact that that is their names?
Yes, yeah, an independent source confirmed it.
Okay, was that by telling you and without asking you? So did they?
It was,
yeah,
yes,
okay.
yes.
Now these wire strippers, you made them look incredibly easy to use. I think you've done a few tool demonstrations in your time. Is that true?
Yes, I have done a number over the years.
Yes, because I couldn't believe how swift you were with them, so that's good. So in with the screwdriver, you're concentrating look, I would suggest there. Have you ever watched an episode of Flash Gordon, the film especially?
Yes, why?
Yeah, well, just if
Ming the Merciless
Ming the
here.
Merciless. The face bone structure's the same. If you've got a swimming cap on, I think you could say, yeah, Gordon's alive. Yes, we can have all that going on, so yeah. Here we go. So Ming the Merciless is down to the bottom. Socket. This is deceptively quite good. You're doing lots of things I wouldn't do, like trying to get cables the right length and all that sort of rubbish. But yeah, it's good.
Quite a quality install.
Yeah. And number of bracelets there on the wrist. Is that anything in particular?
No, not at all, other than some of the military charities which...
And we might come back to that in the second half as well, because your son's got a little bit of a story there if you want to share bits of that with him, and obviously the charity work you do for that, and obviously your marathon running as well, which is obviously after my heart with my daughter attempting it at the moment. This is deceptively quite good. Yeah, it's quite tidy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we got one socket away from a finish. Did you think your first time was the fastest time?
Possibly. I think I tried too hard after the first time and made more mistakes.
Yeah, allegedly your second time wasn't very good. But yeah. Okay, so we did get a better one, so we could have still been editing the second attempt. Yeah. 2 CPCs, going to put them in the same hole. Is that your routine? Yes. Okay, so pop those in.
Seen this done before. Yeah.
That is the most amount. You'll be the fastest person with that many bracelets on, I reckon, ever to take on the race wall with the name Wayne. So, yeah, it's good. 2 screws away, and we'll find out your time. Is there anyone at home that might be watching this? Is there a significant other in your life?
There is, but I can't imagine they're watching this, to be honest with you.
No, well, hopefully they're not. It's embarrassing, isn't it? So, yeah. That handle got used at the end. That looked decent-ish for a non-electrician, but David Barnes' time was 6 minutes odd, so that's probably 6:30, 6:40 he was. So we'll have to see when we come in. G-Dog, what did you think that was like? Decent?
I thought that was good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but he's hoodwinked us before, isn't he?
That could be hoodwinked. There's definitely some bit of electrical work in there.
Oh, hang on. Whoa, hang on. So don't go under the ladder. That's bad luck. And don't go near Rick's, because that's lethal ladder over it. Let's have a look at the lethal one.
I'll come back to Rick soon.
Let go. So up it goes. And then just here we go. And, ooh, Rick.
We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that later. Rick's chopper.
There were misses.
Here we go.
Right, so well, you were worried about this wall over here.
Do you think you're over there?
Well, one would thought so, yeah. As long as, like I said, as long as I beat 640, I think we're...
Beating it by a long way. We're back over here.
Ooh.
We're back over here.
Ooh.
Yeah, we are in outrageous, Tom. I'll tell you here. But I'm going to have to do a bit of shuffling.
Looking down well as well. You're going to bend down?
Yeah.
There's no shame in that, though.
Oh, going down here. We're going to have to shuffle some sort of Damien and
in the fours?
Chamberlain. We're in the fours.
In the fours?
Really? Wow.
That's just under Lee Brody, who is an electrician. 4 minutes 41.
That is a commendable time. Well done, Wayne. That is absolutely busting. Well done. Well done. So that was, oh, wow. If anyone's in the fours, well done for guessing that. I know we try and hoodwink you at times, but no electrical background, have you? I know you.
No, not at all.
A few cables, so that's great. So hopefully someone's going to get the number for the burner phone, and then you'll get a prize sent out by Jenny on the back of that. So we're into it now then. So I think we ought to start with some funny moments, Gordon. Yeah, so we've got some pictures here, and you can use your professional opinion on as well. And Rick, you can give your opinion.
That's
right?
Yeah,
that's right. Okay.
Here we go. Here's a nice one. Always a good one.
Now for me, so before anyone jumps in there, what's absolutely screaming out for me there, no barriers for the public. So that lady has just come randomly up the stairs. She can't see a sign or anything saying ladder in the way. And of course, she could just stumble through the middle.
I mean, she's made that. She's not holding the handrail either.
No.
The fact that she's still going to
She's not wearing a safety cap.
Very brave.
The 3 gents have got safety caps.
But he's doing well holding that while he stood on his fingers as well.
Right, okay, so that's a classic. Okay, so got over the problem. Okay, I would suggest that's probably a few years ago. Maybe the access equipment we've currently got, or ladders as Gordon keeps calling it. So the ladders we've got now, could have solved that problem. Okay.
Yeah. Next up,
There we go.
There we go. Who needs a ladder?
Wow.
Huh?
Telescopic
That's
sofa.
genius. That is genius. Telescopic sofa. I love it. Yeah. He's got the three run version. You notice there, yeah. So that is great.
Doesn't matter if he slips off, does it?
No. But this is before social media. Just date that picture. Someone's got their camera. They've had to find their camera, take it to Boots, get it published, and then get it online years
There's
later.
a darts board on the left-hand side.
Oh, what a hero. It looks like you got double top with the steps.
Yeah, I would say they're probably some of the biggest feet I've ever seen.
Brass switches.
Brass switches.
Oh, he's a man after your own heart, Gary.
Melt.
There we go.
Okay, so on to the next one.
Problem solved. There we go. Lighting maintenance, always a challenge behind swimming pools.
Always,
Yeah.
that's top for electrician.
Wow. So what is he doing then? Is there some sort of strip under there he's trying to get at?
Some say that could be LED strip under there, Gary.
Okay, some
the
say
driver
that could be
might
you.
have been failed.
Some say it could be you.
No, I mean, might be familiar with the project.
I think you might be familiar with the person on the ladder. Okay.
Yeah.
But was it? There we go.
You've got to foot the ladder, haven't you? I mean, that could have slipped back, and someone ended up face first in the pool. You see.
But when you look at later on, that's probably passed some of the tests that Rick's ladder hasn't passed.
Yeah.
Okay, so bear that one in mind when we see the testing later on. I thought that was good. You got any more?
Yeah, well, there you go. Working at the top, artists fall into these steps as well. So look at that, working at the very top of a set of steps. Now they look a little bit like our.
That one's back there.
That one's there, the lesser DIY grade of step.
Now, I think out of all of them, I think you get away with that one.
Right.
Yeah, she's what, 3 up? Do you reckon? If it is a lady, I'm presuming it is. She's 3 up. Yeah, I know you're not meant. Yeah.
Well, you don't know how far below that goes.
Yeah,
yeah.
you say, you don't know how low it goes.
Be like
17 of them, is it? Yeah,
Right,
okay. I think she got away with that. And a lovely looking piece of artwork.
There we go.
Wow, American wrestling. This is a tables, ladders, and chairs match. Obviously, he's going to come in off there and grab the I don't know, tag team championship belt. That is what is it?
insulated steps. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least he's using insulated
Yeah,
steps.
you know, I mean, there could be a risk there.
It's the fact that people are taking photographs pre-camera phones, because that must be pre-camera phones, isn't it? They're high-tech trainers, Rick. How long have you had your high-techs? Okay,
I mean, for a long night.
Yeah, for a long night. Go on then. Next one then.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's quality. Look at that.
That's a genius, I would suggest. That is high, but that is genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see a problem with that one. He's gone to... No. I suppose the only problem is those banister spindles could give way at any time. That might be a bit hair-raising. Is he fitting it, do we think? Is that a new fitting?
Yeah, that's got to be a new fitting, that. That's good.
And again, somebody went out and got their camera to take that photograph.
You've got to be creative. This is probably a
love
training manual this has gone in.
Yeah.
There you go. Sometimes you just run out of steps, you see. I mean, it could have been dangerous if you'd put the ladders up into the wires.
What on earth is going on there?
Yeah.
It's got to be off, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. That could be like slightly
Got to
low
be off.
voltage, a little bit higher voltage further up. So
Low voltage goes up to 15,000 volts AC. Yeah. High voltage is 400,000. Yeah.
medium voltage.
Okay, medium voltage. Okay, right. Okay. Hopefully they're off. Right now, I've got a little bit of a confession. This was sent to me on WhatsApp. So we might have started off with a college lecturer that I work with, but this is a student that I taught in the evening. Okay, so that, he sent me that picture as he got over a problem. So he'd been through my training on access. So what gets me on this one is we clearly told them that the centrepiece between the front and back frame needed to be fully out and erected before using it, and that's what he hasn't done. If he could have just got those middle arms actually down and solid, that would have been a really good one. Yeah. High visibility jacket though, didn't want to get out there without the high vis jacket.
No, he's protecting the wall there.
No, he's got that. No, he's been told on site, got to have your high visibility jacket with you at all times, and that's what he's doing. Yeah. And again, he sent me that picture. Such a proud moment for me. Yeah.
I'd blame the person who did the design, really.
Yeah, it's not in a great place.
Not the best place to put a fluorescent lamp. But
again, genius.
Well, here's again, thinking outside the box.
Those wheelie bins have got wheels on them.
Yes.
That makes them a wheelie bin.
The wheel, the bin lids on them aren't that strong, are they? I mean,
No, they're renowned for being very stable, aren't they?
Yeah.
He's a slimmish lad, isn't he? You can imagine him.
Yeah, but you can
rushing out
imagine you don't know what's going to. Is the bin going to move away? Is the ladder going to go through the lid of the bin?
Yeah, no, he's got his tracksuit on. He's nimble on his feet. He's the sort of person you see rushing out of Woolworths back in the day, having not remembered to pay for stuff. You know, the top hoodie up.
Rather blanked his reg off.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Is that it? Please tell me that's it.
There's so
How
much
many millimetres? It's a left
going on in this one.
Oh my word! Is he for real? That is held on. How much do you think that's held on, Rick?
Not a lot, is it?
Not a lot.
And not even the steps that are on the safe surface have been put up properly.
I thought he was using the top of the banister. No, he's using.
There's so much going on in this one.
Yeah, I thought they were sat on top of banister.
Yeah, no, they're not. I didn't notice that at all.
The lad with the red hat on underneath, he's brave because he's cupping all of that as when that goes. That's right on top of him.
Wow. Yeah.
I think he's poised to make a quick move, though. I think he's expecting it.
Wow. Okay. Please tell me that's the last one.
Hey.
Oh no. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
That's what it's not, is it?
Just the two legs.
It's fully opened. Okay, I like that. Okay, he's got it level. Okay, his friend's levelled it out for him. It probably looks like a bit of Fred West back of his head, but yeah. So what we got there, and obviously we're doing a bit of. Are these English ones? Do you think that's in English?
A whiff of America. That's
is it? Okay.
Just by the emergency light. But there you go.
Oh, thanks
that's
for
a sort of sad thing, I know.
Hey!
There you go. Now I think this is Joe Hammond's friend. I think he's been on the channel, hasn't he?
He has been on the channel, and I take it it's a crime to be wearing sliders on a ladder. Is that the idea? Yeah, absolute crime.
Yeah.
He's just had a child as well, so congratulations. He's had his firstborn.
Well, he might make it to the second.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a set of step ladders like that, haven't you, Rick?
Not like that.
No. Yours are brilliant.
They might become like that.
Rick's got some interesting access equipment. We will get to that. Right, so that's great. That's the funny stuff. Obviously, we're going to be a little bit more serious now because I think we need to take our audience on a bit of an education all the way through. In order to do that, we've got some HSE slides, haven't we, that we want to see, don't we?
We have actually. I mean, just obviously, obviously you can please share in your own ladder-related trivia, but people, obviously because of that, ladders get a bit of a bad name sometimes, not because people sort of use them badly on site, and we hear rumours, oh, ladders have been banned on site. Just to categorise, they haven't.
So we can use ladders on site. So is it the site probably banning them rather than the HSE?
Let's look. Here's what HSE said. Let's bring HSE slide, Joe. There we go. Let's look. There you go. Yeah. There you go. So ladders and step ladders are not banned under health and safety law.
Oh, right,
there you go.
All right, okay, there you go. There it is, bang.
The law calls for a sensible, proportionate approach to managing risk, and ladders can be a sensible and practical option for low-risk, short-duration tasks, although should not automatically be the first choice.
Okay, makes sense.
So,
okay. And again, tell us your experience. A lot of sites are banning, obviously, steps, so they want you to drag around an incredibly heavy metal, effectively small scaffold tower. So, of course, your steps are pretty light. You can carry those around, but, of course, you can't work on them because you're going to hurt yourself. So you end up putting this very heavy platform around and ruining your back. That's what ends up happening, is you're trying to drag that through the actual building itself. So they're not banned. So let's get rid of that myth that they aren't banned. However, okay, there must be something on your ladders to say they're safe. Okay, what would that be, Wayne?
Well, basically, you should have an EN131 standard sticker on them showing that they've passed EN131 tests.
Okay. You were going to say it. I'll ask the question anyhow. Just the sticker on its own, can we trust it?
No.
No, okay.
No, you can't. There are so many units coming into the country that just don't even come anywhere near the testing standards, and you're seeing stickers which say EN131 CE on them.
Okay.
So they're trying to double up on the coverage, but there is no CE test, so it's a double lie basically. So
that's a good way of saying a fake, effectively.
Yes.
Isn't it? So if you see that in CE, fake.
Fake, yeah.
Okay, so if you're going to put a substandard access equipment or ladder in, you might as well put the sticker on it anyhow, aren't you?
Yeah.
You just don't care.
No.
We'll come back to you, Rick. Okay, so yeah, and we're going to see some tests later on, aren't we, where we're going to see what they actually put them through the test to get that standard. It's quite mind-blowing what they can do in order to show failures, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know, these ladders, people are putting their own life and safety at risk, and also those of their employees or their workmates or whatever, and in a lot of cases, I'm unaware just how dangerous the equipment is that they're actually trying to use.
It's a really good point, because obviously once you start employing someone, you're duty holder of care of duty, and you've sent them out on something they have a moment.
Yes,
you're going to soon find out whether, if someone's going to put a little case against you.
Yes,
you're going to find out then.
And that's when it really hits home. I think you're supplying deficient equipment to people working, and that's when it really does hammer home to them.
Comes back to CPD. If we do one on ladders, we'll highlight it, won't we? So again,
people want a CPD.
They want a CPD. Have they got CPD in there?
Access equipment, Gary, they're calling it. Yeah, there you go. Ladders to the rest of the world.
It's not just ladders, it's access equipment. Okay, so we've got Rick. So I'd like you to do a professional teardown of Rick's telescopic ladders. Okay, Rick's going to come over as well. He's going to defend himself. We're going to have a little look at them, and you can perhaps show the way that you believe, obviously, you would be, maybe like Antiques Roadshow. I want you to go over and evaluate these. Might be a fake, okay? It might be, I don't know, some sort of constable we're going to have a look at. Let's have a look at yours then, big man. Let's get up. Let's go. So Wayne's going to show me this. I apologise, I've got somebody in the background there who's told me they don't want to be on camera. That's going to get me in trouble. Okay, so this looks great. So I've picked these up and the equivalent next to it, which is this set here, and they weighed about the same. Now, Wayne, I would have thought if I was picking something up that might be not as good as a branded one that's passed all the tests, that it'd feel a little bit lighter, but these don't. These feel very similar to the weight of your set, so I don't think you can do it on weight.
No.
Okay, so what are we looking for? What signs are we doing?
Well, like I said, straight away we're looking for the sticker saying EN131 standard,
Okay.
which it...
Yeah, let's find that sticker then. I'll have a look up here. always a little bit difficult. You keep looking for the sticker. Look, somebody can't spell the word "and" here on the thing. So there's another one. Look, read the what's that word? Oh, right, okay. So we're looking for that.
So
You've got to keep the ladder free from grease, oil, mud, snow, wet paint, and other slippery materials. Keep your shoes clean.
Right, okay, yeah. So we've got some instructions here. How to fall off it. Yeah. How to strike things in the air. Yeah. So all the do's and don'ts. Have you found it yet, Wayne?
no, unfortunately, we do not have a ladder which reaches standards. So this shouldn't be for sale in the UK, full stop.
Okay. Where do you get it from, Rick?
Amazon.
Okay. And when you bought it on Amazon, okay, remember you've got a materials background.
Yes.
Did you think that the listing, and you've got to go back in your memory now, so do you think the listing had the appropriate EN131 on it?
I probably didn't look for it, to be quite honest.
Okay. Because?
I just needed a set of ladders.
Right, okay. Yeah. So we haven't got that on it. Can you just show me, Rick, how you erect it slightly? Okay, just bring it up a run or two. Let's just bring those up a run or two. So, yeah. So
Just take it, just put your foot on there and lift that up. There you go.
okay, brilliant. And how do you get it back down?
Well, you keep your fingers out that way for the starters.
Okay, is that in the instructions?
Move this that way.
No, let's come round. Yeah. So show me what we're going to do.
From the top, we just... There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Wow. Okay, that's good. Ooh. Be careful, it's a bit hit and miss, isn't it?
Close.
Bit hit and miss. Now, have you ever been to the top of your ladder, Rick?
No.
Why
no,
not?
It flexes ever so slightly.
Do you agree?
It flexes an awful lot.
Did anyone get to the top of his ladder today?
I don't think anybody was brave enough. Oh, did you? You did actually get there, yes.
Yeah. Was it a bit whammocky?
Yes.
Would you say I weigh the same as Rick?
No, you're a lot lighter.
Oh! I'm a lot lighter. I am a lot. I wasn't always a lot lighter, Rick, was I? So now, in hindsight, okay, would you suggest that was a good purchase for Rick?
No, it's just not safe.
It isn't, and we've seen that in action. Do you agree it's not safe, Rick?
Yeah, I agree.
And what's your defence, though? Because you said when you use it.
Don't put it up that high.
No, so you don't use it to its full
Don't use it to its full capability. And just push from the bottom for me, just so that it's got a bit more material towards the bottom rather than the top.
Okay, talking about a bit more material in the middle rather than the top. Let's go back. Okay, yes, he's got mugged off all day today because he fell out with me today, Rick did. Had a really good practical joke on him. Everyone found it funny bar Rick, and he hasn't forgiven me yet, and after tonight he never will. Okay, so we're going to see a lot of this, aren't we? Online retailer, we've probably, what was the price roughly?
About 100 quid.
100 quid all in, delivered and everything?
Yeah.
Next day free delivery, was it? Okay, yeah, so £100 telescopic ladders, it looks the part, fits in the back of your car, fits in the back of the van, doesn't comply to standards. No,
and this is the problem. People, people are being put off of the right ladder. We go out there and we'll spend £300-400 on a power tool, and yet, £100 seems acceptable on a ladder, when if it goes wrong or you fall off and you're, 4 or 5 metres up in the air, how much money are you losing whilst you're having your broken arm repaired, or, even worse, some of the horror stories where people have got injured and even skewered on broken ladders has been quite horrific.
Right, okay. And again, you could have a ladder that's got EN131 and you could come off it. So we're not suggesting the ladder itself. It's still got to be erected correctly, okay, go through all those things. And there's things about your ladder we'll see in that second half that actually allows you to know it's erected correctly by the design of it, whereas obviously yours, we just sling it up and it did fold in the middle, didn't it? So again, it would be interesting if people have a chance at some point to let us know in future videos if they had seen that sticker.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? You knew as soon as you went up your ladder compared to a proper one that the bend, the movement, the twist.
Yeah. I think that one once I'd purchased it and sort of pushed it up and climbed on first rung, I went, don't know if I want to go that way on these.
And it's interesting, a few people in the comments have got telescopic ladders, and interestingly, Paul Tipton has suggested he's fallen off a set of steps and broken an iPad.
Oh, right.
Which probably you could, looking at the price of iPads, depending on the spec, you could have had 10 sets of Rick's ladders for that.
We've said, and I think it's in a video later on in it, the fall that costs you 6 weeks off work if you're lucky, maybe. You said there's worse instances, Gov. So, you buy yourself a £100 pair of steps, take 6 weeks off work, and obviously on the way down, you're likely to have a phone in your pocket, and you're likely to land on that. You're not really going to save that thing, so you're probably £1,000 down on a phone as well, aren't you? So it's not a great investment, I would suggest. And we love tools, all that match. Power tools that all match, and then we buy £100 pair of steps. It'll be interesting to see how many people in the comments take their access equipment, ladders seriously, and whether they thought when they bought them it was a worthwhile investment. I would suggest at the start of anyone's electrical career, maybe they're starting on their own, if you buy a decent set of something, it will last you to the end, won't it? I can't see any reason why it would give up. No. So it's yours will. That won't be the first and only set you own, will it?
I wouldn't have thought so. No. It got me out of a pickle at the time, but would I use it for the long run?
I went to the top of them and you didn't.
Yeah, I would definitely.
That video's
won't.
coming
As soon
up,
as it started flexing, no.
Yeah, you bottled it, didn't you?
I'm just not daft. Well, I suppose I am daft to a degree.
Well, £100 daft.
You bought them in the first place.
Absolutely, absolutely. Comments, Gordon. What's coming in?
So it's interesting. People are saying, how do people get away with selling ladders that aren't compliant? Is it a market surveillance issue?
I think it is, yeah. Unfortunately, you guys know as well as what anybody else does that there's so much an influx. Most of the cheap product comes from China, so there's such an influx in that type of product.
In the CE mark.
Yeah, it's
China export.
It's just can't. You just can't keep on top of it, and you must see it in all aspects of what the trade uses. It's not just in the ladders, but there's a lot of cheap, nasty stuff coming through, which, unless you're aware, unless you know what to look out for, then people are going to get caught out, hurt, and injured by it.
EN131. Is it a new thing?
Slide on 131, John.
No, it's been out there for I think it came in 2012.
Oh right, so
it was and telescopic ladders are EN131-6.
Okay.
Which is for the extra.
So left-hand side then, what we're breaking down here, obviously the places in which we'd expect to find or use them. Is that the idea? So domestic, trade, industrial?
Yeah, that's what it all goes into, and then the EN131 standard allows you to come through to the other side. So it's the minimum standard that any telescopic ladder should reach to come into the marketplace.
Okay, and then we've got the users there, so both it's equipped for non-professional and professional use, okay, is what we've got on those. So it covers Rick in his journey, so non-professional at the start, hopefully we're aiming towards professional as we get to the end, so and you're trying to work through domestic, industrial and obviously industrial trade, so I like it, so you're on that journey. I taught ladder safety in the first 4 weeks, never ever mentioned this, and I was teaching in 2012. And we didn't bring any of this up. So again, I'm not suggesting that brilliant college lecturers out there aren't bringing it up and identifying it with people. But if you don't get it at that stage when you're training, and maybe it's not highlighted in your portfolio, how do we ever find this information out?
Well, it's obviously all available online. It's just a quick Google. It can tell you. The ladders, as we've discussed, should be marked up to that standard, so you can see what your standards you're working to. Some of the ladders which Telesteps make actually go to EN1147 standard, which is what they call the rescue ladder. So that takes up to 500 kilos. And you can have 3 people on that at any one time, and they're used by the fire and rescue services. So if you wanted to go further and beyond, there is far safer out there than even the basic standard which we're talking about here.
But it's not, is it?
And is that, and do they do that with the telescopic range as well?
Yeah, the telescopic range, it's not dissimilar to the Prime. It's just a slightly upgraded ladder, slightly longer. And like I said, you can have 3 people on that, or a fireman with his breathing apparatus and somebody over his shoulder. They even use it for rescues as a stretcher as well, laying people out. So that they're, and like I said, that's 1147 standard.
Would you like to lay on Ricks as we carry you anywhere?
I think you might struggle to carry me.
There's a big gap though in mine as well.
Yeah, we'll come back to that when we look at the two comparisons of that. But your ladder reminds me of those ones on the WWE when they just sort of bring them in and fold against someone, like they've hit them with a great big, really heavy ladder, and it's like made of tin foil. Not a good investment, was it?
It's interesting. So,
cheap by twice.
TradeFox out there with his new app on safe isolation. He's never heard of EN131, and I don't think any of my site team had either.
Of course you haven't. No, I haven't. So,
you were probably using wooden ladders, were you? Your training?
Maybe early on.
Yeah.
We had to show the 3 screws and a bolt on the back of the hinge.
Right.
Yeah, so that's part of that. I knew that. Yeah, did you not know that? There's 3 screws and a bolt, so you can't have 4 screws.
Right.
Screws are things that work out, so there's always 1 bolt in there. I'm right, I'm going back a long time. We started off with wood. We felt really grown up when we got the Fibreglass. But I know a story, obviously, where we were buying access equipment. We're a poor college like everyone, and we got our first, do you call it Podium or platform?
Yeah,
Yeah, so we got one of these. So in it comes, brings it in. Brent, lovely guy, a little bit sensitive, Brent was, and obviously I was a bit of a lunatic, I would suggest, to work with. I know you find it surprising. And he brought it in, he set it up, and he put it into one of our cubicles, and he went, oh, we're going for this now, Gary. It's a lot safer to work on even than steps. I said, brilliant. I said, I'm just going to test it out. So I walked up to it, jumped onto the middle of it, and jumped in the air, and then landed back on it. It just caved in the middle. He did cry a little bit. He wept, okay, and that's no word of a lie. And I bent it in the middle because he'd gone to B&Q, bought it for whatever it was, just because he thought it looked apparent. And he said, obviously when he calmed himself down, he said, but students wouldn't jump on it. I said, why wouldn't they? You're going to jump on that, jump on the rafters, jump back down, and bang, gone, folded. Yeah, that's what you do. You buy with Rick. You buy more than once, Rick, don't you? Rubbish.
You've always got to take into consideration the worst case scenario, really, haven't you? And that's if you aim for that.
Yeah, work your way back. Interesting to see if people have got the lighter versions. Usually it's a DIY thing, and you have one and you all play, but they all start to go in the middle.
On the podium.
Podium or platform. I like a bit of podium work. You can imagine, can't you, doing all that in there?
Podium dancing.
Yeah.
Give a bit of music on.
I would never be allowed to teach anymore. It would be great entertainment for half a day before they escorted me off the building. Yeah. You did what when you taught?
Yeah.
Anyone who's been with me will know those stories. Lots of people on social media say, I don't remember Gary teaching it quite like that, because obviously I always had a little slant on learning. But incredibly important, and well done for what was his name again? Something Fox?
Yeah, TradeFox.
TradeFox, yeah.
So there's people saying there used to be class 2 ladders or something before EN1?
Yeah, there were class 1, class 2s previously, but now it's EN standards.
Right, there you go. There's loads of ladder trivia coming in. Another viewer has asked, did telesteps originally invent them for armoured police raids so they could access lofts?
Well, telesteps were the original inventors, so one would presume that's possibly,
What was in the loft?
Well,
fugitives, Gary. The small plants. Plants.
Yeah, but they're always well illuminated, those areas, and it's pretty hot when you got up there. But you could see everything, couldn't you, when you got in there?
Yeah.
Well, the police and the armed forces, like I said, they are still using the rescue version. So yes.
I'd love to see him use yours, Rick.
Yeah. Well, we have got a little video on you might Rick's. Let's just so this was sent in by a company who actually test ladders and just gives a little bit of insight. Just 2-minute video, but it's well worth a watch actually.
An introduction to ladder standards from the Test and Research Centre. All products placed on the UK market must be safe. And an easy way to show that they are safe is conformity with the British or European standard. Now for ladders, the standard is EN 131, and it comes in many different parts and covers step ladders, leaning ladders, combination ladders, multi-hinge joint ladders and telescopic ladders. The standards have dimensional requirements like rung spacing and minimum width, so they are comfortable to use. Features like regular rung spacing mean users can predict where the rungs and steps will be and reduce the risk of a fall from missing their footing. Obviously, when you're off the ground, you want to know the product will take your weight. So there are many different strength and durability tests in the standard. These test either the strength of the whole product or individual features. They can be a simple overload test or have a deflection limit under a specified load. Safety factors apply to the rated load, cover variations in materials and user dynamics. All of these add up to a load rating of 150 kilograms for the user, including any tools and materials that they might be holding. Here at the Test and Research Centre, since opening our doors in 2020, we've tested hundreds of ladders and found some quite alarming results. In particular, we found imported telescopic ladders have a very high failure rate of around 95%. These substandard imports regularly fail drop testing, deflection testing and strength testing. On many occasions, samples have buckled before even reaching the stated working load. Under test conditions, the load will be stopped in a controlled manner, but if a user was standing on this ladder, the only place they will stop is when they hit the floor. I must stress, there are safe telescopic ladders available on the market, being sold or stocked by trusted manufacturers and suppliers. However, our testing highlights the need for consumers to exercise caution when buying telescopic and any other ladder, particularly online. Through our work at the Test and Research Centre and in collaboration with the Ladder Association, we've helped trading standards teams stop over 10,000 dangerous ladders from entering the UK market. We will continue to do so to help stop the sale of these unsafe ladders once and for all, and ultimately keep ladder users safe.
incredibly sober in there, Wayne. Just unpack some of the things that we saw in there, maximum weights and the failure rates and all the rest of it.
Well, this EM131 standards is 150 kilos, and as you can see from those videos, that's what they were testing those to, and virtually none of them were actually surviving that. One of those lads, I think, we could have actually been Rick's by the looks of the state of it. But
Thanks, Rick.
And the way I've been brought on to.
but yeah, that is, and if you imagine, I know people might say, oh yeah, but I don't weigh that. But once you're on there and you've got your kit and you've got your drill or whatever, and these ladders aren't reaching that standard. They're collapsing way before they get to 150 kilos. You were climbing that ladder today. I'm not suggesting you weigh anywhere near that. You know how much that ladder was bending.
It was all over the show. It was awful.
Yeah.
And I did it out of devilment and, just to prove a point. But I would not be comfortable working. It's all right going up it and having a laugh.
Yeah.
But then I've got to effectively take one hand off and I'm going to have to do some sort of activity and rotate between hands. We can talk about number of points of contact and all the rest of it. But with the bend in it, you wouldn't be comfortable at all.
No, doing the electrical jobs that you were doing outside today, on, no offence, on your ladder would have been quite dangerous.
And again, you've brought your ladder to work on it on your own, haven't you?
Yeah.
So there's no one footing that ladder?
No.
No, you haven't got a second person give you a chance. No. And that's what's often happening. People are potentially buying an inexpensive piece of access equipment and working on their own.
Yes.
Yeah? So when you've landed on your phone, you can't even ring for help, can you?
or worse still, they're buying it and giving it to somebody else to go and work with.
Yeah.
And being told, go and do that job with it.
Care of duty. The failure rate was expressed on there. It was horrific. What was the failure rate?
95%. They were 95% of. I saw another test earlier this year, and they were 80% of every ladder they tested failed.
Why has this not been brought up in Parliament? Why has this not been raised? Because people who fall off a ladder don't tend to walk away unscathed. There's usually a big injury as you come off it.
I don't know. I genuinely don't know why it's not being looked into more than what it is. I think the trouble of it is there are so many other problems, in the world, as it were, that ladders are one of the least.
I don't want to be the doom and gloom. I thought probably because the injuries are recoverable to a certain degree, and it's possibly not killing people. I apologise if I've upset anyone. That's probably why it hasn't raised up. When we get things like premature collapsing and firefighters been entangled, we change the rules. But access equipment, you come off and you have maybe a near miss or your sprained ankle, broken wrist.
But it's like everything else. A lot of these online platforms, someone sells them, they get taken down, and they pop up again with a different name, different little website, different, then it's self-perpetuating. And then we've got the other newer platforms that not next day free delivery, takes about a week from another part of the world.
They're just getting warehouses in the UK.
Yeah.
Well, you say nobody's getting killed, and I haven't heard that, but I do know of the worst case scenario I heard was a lady climbed up one of them, it snapped, and she actually skewered herself on the ladder as she came back down. So, it's doing some real horrific injuries, regardless of just breaking arms, and that, there is huge potential out there with the wrong products.
And again, training. Once you're an electrician, when's the next time you're probably having any ladder or access equipment training? We talk about safe for September, safe isolation. We raise that profile. Lots of other things in safety that probably need refreshing every year. Mm-hmm. Even if it's only to remind you of that number to look for, at least you know the kit's got a chance. But again, if you've spent
It was interesting on that number. I was surprised that, again, we do suspect it's Rick, how far apart the treads were.
Oh, massive.
Is that a standardised thing? There shouldn't be more than a...
Well, they shouldn't. They should be between 250 and 300 mil apart. As we know, Rick's are way past that.
Yeah. And should that be constant across the ladder
as well? It should be, because then, as you're walking up the ladder, it's a constant step, like you are walking up steps or something like that. If you're stretching because you're travelling up a longer step than what is natural, then again, it's not a natural movement, is it? You're pulling yourself up more.
Is that a standard or is that just a best practice?
No, between 250 and 300 is where it should be. There is no best practice. It should be there.
Aren't, Rick?
That's why the value engineered.
There's less treads.
Well, basically, when you looked at the two ladders, one there was 1.5 steps higher, basically. So what it does, it means you've got less rungs. So it's a cheaper product because you've got less rungs in it.
Yeah.
You can just see it there, side of it.
Yeah. You can see that it's a half a step more each time.
And interesting, the Sorben, it's one of our lads was off work for a year with hearing damage and a head trauma.
Oh,
So,
Wow.
yeah. Hopefully,
so
it's
you know, this is real.
yeah. And again, we're not suggesting that using any ladder incorrectly is going to, you know, no matter how much you've got the ladder with the right numbers and the right price and all the rest of it. If you use it wrong, you could come off it. But again, having one that could fail without you realising it is a
Well,
tragedy.
this is the thing, isn't it? And it's been lured into that false sense of security. You think you've got the right product, you think you're doing the right thing, and you know, common sense to a certain extent tells you as soon as you climb it that, hold up, this isn't right. This isn't the standard it should be.
Common sense says to me, you get what you pay for, Rick.
Yeah, well, let's just have a look. People are saying it's pick on Rick night, so we might as well finish it off with. Let's just have a look at the video and just the final test before we move on to the good stuff.
Come on.
What if it falls?
Well, you're on your own ladder in your own time.
Yeah, but I won't go that high in with my own ladder.
Well, the ladder goes that high,
own
Rick, that you bought, so let's get up the ladder.
Yeah, but I'm probably going to go up like a few.
Well, get to the middle.
Yeah. Go on then, up he goes. Oh, dear me. Jeez, was that Rick? Gee, go on, keep going. Look, it's beautiful. There's a few more runs. You know, we're near the top. You can be within 2 of the top.
Sod off.
Bravest man in Skipton.
Your turn. Worry, guys, I'll foot them for you.
And I'm not good at heights either, so I'm not a massive fan of heights, Rick. Oh, that flexes a bit, doesn't it? Good. Yeah. Lovely. I'll tell you what, iPhone in the pocket, yeah, hit the deck. 6 weeks holiday I'll get, a brand new iPhone, hey? Worth every penny. They're awful. They are truly awful, they are, Rick. Waste of money. Yeah, if you're buying access equipment and you won't go up it, that's not a really good sign, is it? Okay, and yes, the calves on me look like a racehorse, I know that, yeah, so I'm well known for
People
it.
can't see it. People are saying that's making me feel queasy. I think it's your legs, Gary. And yeah, he does wax them on a regular basis as well.
Nothing wrong with that, bit of manscaping.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Let's mack the hairs of time and move on.
But again, like I said earlier, you wouldn't want to work off it. You know, just using it to get up there, it was whammocky.
Yeah.
So again, not great. So that was us. Obviously, that's why Rick's here tonight, because he's bought cheap kit.
But again, we watched that. Here's the lab testing them. You think they'd push it to the absolute limit. We'll suggest here's 2 people who are less than 150 kilos.
Yeah, it was all over the show.
But it was a bit whammocky, as we say, around these parts.
But it's the flexing, it's where you're going to have your problem.
Yeah.
Ain't necessarily got to give way. It's just, you lose your nerve a bit, don't you?
Might be worth putting them through the test.
What, see how much they can weigh?
Yeah,
Have you got a spare set now, then?
Well, no, but I don't fancy going back up them again.
No.
Well, we've got another video. Let's just have a look. Well, let's have a look at the Telesteps ones, actually, because people are thinking, oh well, it's impossible to get a good telescopic ladder, and until a few weeks. No, actually, we saw the Telesteps first at Bolton.
We did.
And then you went to play with hammers and nails instead while we were trying to have a sensible conversation. And until we had some today, it was the first time we really had the chance to have a play. So let's have a look at
Rick's new ladders.
Rick's new ladder.
Yeah, ooze quality, didn't it?
Yeah,
When we got
yeah. No, but I flew straight up to the top of them. There were no holding back, really, as soon as I went up. Yeah.
And again, people only see it there. We did it as a click-clunk one, obviously, because that's what we like doing. But the little red tabs that came out, that once they're out and clicked, obviously that's it locked in place.
Yeah, that's an indicator. So that was the combi line which is the ladder.
Go and have a go again.
Behind you.
Climb up behind us there. Let's have
There.
Hang on, what was
Let's
that?
have a look.
Oh, my
Oh, there's
microphone.
your
Sorry,
mic.
Still got a mic. So let's come through. Yeah,
I've got such confidence in this. I'm going to stay seated in front of the ladders as Gary climbs up.
even a problem.
But each of those little red tabs come out to indicate that the step's been locked in, so you're aware straight away everything's locked out, everything's stable.
And what's really nice is when you do the bottom ones, is it, and you deactivate them, that's when you can start the down process.
You can bring the whole lot down in.
And it comes down actually slowly, doesn't it? It's got
Yes,
like
yeah, unlike the.
Well, I'll do a trial.
Yeah, we'll get them. We'll get them. No, I just want to lace the
Yes.
where we're going.
Yeah, it's not going to take your fingers off. It comes down nice
And
and
we'll do that.
controlled.
And we're going to do that. Old, don't ever work with ladders and children live on telly. So we're going to do that in a minute. So, yeah, solid as a rock. Again, them ones are great over there. They're the ones really that replace yours side by side. And you see the treads. So can we have a look at some treads? Explain what's happening on those treads for us if I jump up.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So Wayne's going to show us. Come on, Rick. Come and have a lesson.
What you could have
Look at
had.
my new ladders.
So this is our prime line. This is Telesteps equivalent of what obviously Rick's got there. As you can see, you've got the stabilisers on the bottom.
Yep.
So you've got 4 points of grounding straight away, rubberised feet, and these feet are designed so when the ladder tilts to a 75-degree angle,
Yep.
the steps then become level. So you've got a visual that your ladder is in the right place.
That is great.
80mm wide step. So again, as you can see, against the
8mm steps.
yeah, against the cheaper ones, we've got a far wider step, so it's
You
more
can feel it in the bottom of
comfortable,
your feet as well, especially when you stood on there.
more comfortable, more stable for you to have your feet on. We've got triangular
Oh, right.
tube section on the side. Again, like a rugby ball and egg, you've got extra strength through these being on there like that. Carbon fibre enforced plastic coming through on the sides as well. And each individual step can be locked out at the individual heights. And obviously, as we've said, closure is on a slow closure.
Do you want to try and show that? I know we've got it hooked on at the top, so I'm asking you to do something here.
Yeah, no, it's not a
Just show us what
problem.
you're doing.
So you just
Yeah,
bring
I
the
do
two catches in,
And then they just, oh wow, that's super
and
neat.
down she comes.
And you can't go any quicker than that. That's it. It's once you've unlocked those bottom ones, that's as fast as it's going to come down.
Yeah,
You've got a good chance of getting your hand out of the way
yeah,
there.
you're not going to get your fingers caught up in that.
And got nice. Is this an additional attachment here on the top?
Yep, you got the top stand there as additional attachment. Obviously, it gives you a standoff, or if you're working with a lamp post or telegraph pole, it gives you another point to lock into all the time. And these top standoffs work independently as well. So if you're got something in the way, you can actually set them so it's the exact right height that you require.
If you had a fit in here and you were past,
Yeah.
one slightly lower, I really do like that.
What
And
about, sorry,
Go on, you go.
what about if the, if your floor's not quite level?
Well, there's loads of accessories for this, and they do adjustable feet. So these rubber cups are removed. They're adjustable feet that go in, and it also adjusts the stabiliser. So if you're working on a deck or on slabs or something, you can adjust it so it's still completely level. And then there's tool trays and various other bits and bobs. If you're hanging this in your van, there's a hanging system so you can just lock it into your van, makes it nice, safe and secure for when you need it on site.
You thought of going into sales? That was brilliant. That was probably the best pitch I've ever done. I'm in. And they weigh about the same as yours, Rick, don't they? So when we were lifting them up, I was bringing them around, and you can't say that there's no quality in yours because they weigh exactly the same as these ones, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Right, okay, you can put them back up. So let's see this. That seemed to take forever. Wow. And that's it, is it?
Yeah, and as you can see, we know that each one's locked out because of the little red clips.
Okay, so when they're fully down like this... Okay,
Yeah, it's locked out.
Yeah, locked out, okay.
But we can then drop that just to these heights if we wanted to, just by pressing the clip in, and we can bring the ladder
Down
down.
the section.
Yeah.
So we did that because we started at the bottom, and these are
Yeah.
slightly different because they're side ones, which means then we can drop the entire thing down.
Yes.
Nice touch. Rick, has yours got any of those features?
No. I mean, if you want to lose your finger, it'll do that for you.
Well, let's just have a look at that, actually. We sort of tested that, actually. With we had a little play with your ladders the other day, and it was like, wow, watch this. Oh, there's the sausages.
Oh, claret everywhere, folks. Oh, Rick had one. And he did eat it as well, folks. That is, can you imagine your hand or something else in there? Small sausage, and the pain. Oh, not
But
good.
you know, to be fair, there is a warning label that warns you not to put your body parts under the ladder when you dismantle it.
And it gives you a list of ones that recommend not to put in there.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
so I thought that was.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
Okay, if that doesn't make you think, I don't know what will. So interesting. Yeah, you're not going back on them, are you? You're going to be using a set that we've now got at Lineside Studios, aren't you?
Yeah.
So when we say, where's the ladders, they're in Rex's van.
In van.
Yeah.
They'll be
Okay.
in van, yeah.
And again, it's boys' choice. I mean, I said in my video, 6 weeks off work, how much is that going to cost you in comparison to buying something once, buying it well, and realising not only you can go on it, but if you've got other people or you lend it to someone else. You know, how many times have we been on building sites where we've borrowed a piece of average access? Three ladders for Rick.
Yeah.
So he needs some. We want you back, Rick. We can't afford to lose you to 6 weeks off.
Well,
we
no.
don't pay sick pay. You can't afford.
When I had that footballing injury, it took me out for a week.
Yeah.
That were bad enough.
It was bad enough, yeah.
Detached the shoulder.
Yeah, got it back in though, didn't we? Got back to work, didn't you? So, so again, it's that we buy a quality power tool because we know it'll last. We buy quality hand tools because we know going to last. I think we need to come away from maybe online retailers, maybe even some electrical wholesalers. Would we still have to look for that sticker? Do you think there's a few rogue, sort of inexpensive ones out there?
I dare say there is. Yeah, there's, you do see a number of the Telesteps, the only ones which are built in Sweden, so they're Swedish made. It's like Volvo and Saab, as it were. Yeah, they are the innovators. They are the people that have brought through, the best ones that are available. And there are some other, quality manufacturers out there, but there is so much rubbish as well, unfortunately.
Yeah, okay, a bit of research I would suggest.
Yeah.
You go and buy a new telly, you probably go around, have a look, don't you? And buy a new power tool, you have a little bit of research, watch a video, all the rest of it, go and buy a pair of steps. Yeah, what you got is it's cheap. Your steps behind us.
Yeah.
There, just
Oh,
there.
the old,
they're yours.
the legacy steps. I think they were already in the building.
Mate, that must be yours, they're legacy steps.
There's nothing wrong. These are lightweight, Gary.
See, they would come under the same standard, wouldn't they? EN 131, because they are domestic ones. Is that the idea?
Yeah, they're not telescopic though,
No,
so
okay,
that would
okay.
A different part, huh?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, you've done well there, Rick. Yeah, Rick will have them off you.
Yeah, there's no sticker on these, so you can have them.
No, stop it, mate.
There you go.
Yeah, they're safe.
I think they're the ones the old.
Paint on them.
That's what happens when you use the customers' ladders, isn't it? They were already in here when we moved in.
They were.
Yeah.
Did you remember the other smaller pair we had that didn't quite get the lid on the top? So when the top platform gone, you had to twist it to get it on. I couldn't find them.
No, they're over there still.
Are they?
Yeah.
They are
You can use them tomorrow.
Yeah, we can use them to us.
Well, we don't now because I'll be using these.
yes.
Yeah.
Again, in the chat, how many people own a set of telescopic ladders, whether it be the slightly step version or the other ones? Put it in the chat as well. Did you check, or are you going to check for EN 131 in the future? And would it be something you consider in the future as well? So again, have we got people suggesting they'd like some learning on ladders? And
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people. I think there's a lot of learning on ladders, and obviously people have learned it now. KFC legs, they're calling you now.
KFC legs.
Yeah. Like two chicken drums.
If you want to finger licking.
I guess so. I don't think they're that finger licking good.
Dog next door likes me every time I go around there, doesn't it? He loves my legs. Gets in there. Got no problem with that at all.
Yeah.
Just think where I've come from, folks. Look at this. I've come from there. KFC has not touched my lips for a long time.
Yeah, and people are decorator steps definitely in the background, aren't
Yeah.
they? So, yeah.
But again, I would argue they're the ones that need to probably buy a decent set because they're going to spend more time than anyone on them.
Yeah, no, exactly. Anybody, more often than not, somebody is going into a house property already owned, they're doing extra electrical work. We just won a contract supplying one of the housing associations for all their guys, going up into the loft, doing all the examinations, checks, contract work which they're doing. So it's that type of environment which these are really hold their own. And like I said, when you're asking somebody else to do the job for you, it's even more important.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how many people are employed that then go and check tomorrow morning.
Yeah, so there you go. So someone said, I've never trusted telescopic steps, but they are tempted to buy these ones. So yeah, we never trusted them because we'd only used Ricks before. now we are only going on these ones. So
Never using Ricks.
yeah. It's interesting, just a little bit on the thing. I switched something on in the YouTube community tab today.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, and people might be wondering because there's people getting the number one by the name in the comments and things like that.
Are they leading the rank for the number of comments?
It is the, what is it to call it? Hold on, I've just found. So I'll figure it out over the next week and see how it works. But top fans.
Oh, right, give them a shout out.
It's Chris Horn at the minute, but it's you get experience points. And here's how you get them. Send live chat messages or send super chats or super stickers, which we never get anywhere. No. But the more messages you put in, the more chance you've got in there. The minute it's Chris Horn, followed by Ollie, followed by Sergio Fernandez, followed by Paul Tipton, followed by Kevin Osborne. Troy loves custard. I'm suggesting that's not your first name. And neither is 203 MPH. We've got James Kane in there, also regular views. Sean Dempsey falling down. He's normally a big comment. He's
Sean
number
Dempsey,
10.
he's number 10. He's only just scraped into the top 10.
Dave Frizzell, Stephen. We did have, I think, a relative of yours earlier. Jane, have you got to Jane?
Yeah, that's the other half.
There you go, in there as well. She's only got 25 experience points, but they just made it into the Tops fans list there, so we'll have to have a few more comments in there. So I'm quite liking this. So
just a quick one while he's in there. Chris Hornbury, last day of teaching today, so in his teaching career finished today. I know he's in negotiations. He's a bit like Bosman now. He's on a free, so of course he's put out a ridiculous number. So if they want to get him back again, but as far as I was concerned, that it was his last day of teaching day. Finishes actually on Friday, which I didn't know. I know they gave him a few flowers and bits and bobs today. So Chris Horn, hopefully, will be joining the team for a couple of days a month moving forward. Perhaps he can do our working at heights on your steps in the future. You reckon that? Yeah. Up you go, Chris. Never get on there.
Get on one of these.
Never get on there. Don't say that. Don't say that. It's like, yeah, well, yeah, stand on that. Is that it? So you happy with that?
I am happy with
That's
that.
good.
I quite like, but yeah, you only get a sticker if you're in the top 3. So
Oh, right, okay.
there you
So
go.
do you get to keep the sticker, do you know?
No, it resets every week.
Oh, right, pressure's on. Get the comments
pressure's
in.
on.
I love it.
You can do something with that. I like this. And there's some other things that I haven't figured out yet, but there we go. That'll be next week's job.
Okay. Any more comments coming in that we want to address?
Lots on that. People obviously asking about should electricians have to use yellow fiberglass steps?
In real high difficult electrical situations, then yes, because the telesteps have rubber feet and they have the carbon reinforced bar connections, they are safe to use in most environments. But if you're working in a real sort of high voltage environment, then you should be on the electrical ones.
So if you're working on live lines,
yes, anything like that.
Yeah, but if you shouldn't really be working on or near live equipment unless you're trained to do so.
Well,
It's like normal electricians, you're fine. Okay, I would suggest that's another myth, and it's like when we used to have wooden ones, like back in my day. Yeah, because wood's damp wood's good.
right. Okay.
Yeah. Damp ladder.
Steel spike at the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely on that one. Like the feet, though. I mean, obviously things have progressed, but to have 4 points of contact at the bottom and to be adjustable feet, that was not a thing in your day, was it, Gordon? Bamboo, wasn't it?
So I suppose those other ladders may have been inspired by bamboo, which is still used as scaffolding because it flexes around. You can see where the inspirations came from. But having seen some bamboo scaffolding, I wouldn't like to be on it for too long.
With Rick in no shorts, so we saw what was flexing when he got up there, wasn't it? Oh dear.
Oh, no.
We were worried at times, weren't we? Yeah, wonder what you had for lunch. So,
We almost found another chipolata.
So we've got some other products in front of us. Obviously, there's some interesting things. I'm going for platform or podium. So here, okay, now, again, you've got the same technology in the legs, isn't it?
Yeah,
so, again,
exactly the same.
And we can bring it up.
Yeah, you've got the clips, you can extend it up. It goes up to 0.9 metres. So
Which is amazingly high, isn't it? Because I stood on it outside and I was like, then went and got the tape measure, you're bang on 0.9 of a metre. It feels incredibly high. Why is that height?
over a metre has to have a handrail, which is then you probably go over to one of the little telescopic scaffoldings. So this will work at the highest you can go without having a handrail safety system around it.
And it was back there, wasn't it? It was
higher than you think.
Yeah, it was.
Tabletop height.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. He was like, wow. Well, it was a decent height. Stood on it. He thought, wow, I wouldn't need effectively a small tower. Obviously, we're one of those. So that's interesting. Again, I didn't know that. That would make a good element of an access CPD if we're not just doing ladders. You could mention podiums, couldn't you? And again, well, no, but again, you wouldn't know, would you? Go on site. I can't take that on there, mate. No. You say, hang on a minute, it's 0.9 of a metre. I know it starts at 1. Yeah, ka-ting, I'm off the site.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Smart, Alec.
Knowing most health and safety officers, if they're
like,
going to stop you in the first place.
You in the
they're not
fluorescent jacket. You, mate, off. Yeah, so, interesting on that one. Yeah, same principle on that. So, obviously, we've got this one behind us. We've already been up.
Yeah.
It does pull in, doesn't it? The sections
Yes,
between the two?
it can come in. You can use it as a single ladder as well if you haven't got that sort of spacing so you can prop it up against the wall. The same way as the prime.
And again, just a little clip in there. If this
yeah, you
strap
just
clips to the front and
you
back
just
section.
clip the back section forward.
Incredibly easy to do as well, and it was like, oh well, that was easy. So yeah, and then we lent it up and used it effectively like we did the telescopic ladder.
Yeah.
That's good. Anything else in the range that we haven't got in front of us that we might be seeing?
Well, we do the loft ladders as well. So that's built on the prime line, 2 lengths, comes out and then telescopics down.
And stays in place?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
right, okay.
yeah, and they lock in. They're exactly the same. It's just there's obviously got a top unit which is designed to bolt into the loft. So when you bring it down and drop it down onto your loft hatch, it then telescopics out and you can put it all back in.
I must confess, I've got a wooden set of steps from my time at the Eastman's Electricity, and I stand on the top of that to get into my loft. I know, and it's gone sideways a couple of times. My wife's had to come and
Oh, you'll be stuck up the loft.
Well, I have to shout, but yeah, it's like I've knocked him over. But yeah, you just think, again, it's like I worked with somebody who did that one, I've taught someone who did that, and I ain't got a loft ladder myself. You know, it's just madness, isn't it? Absolutely madness. Got a loft ladder?
No.
Has Ken got one you can borrow? Ken's ladder?
No. But I've once worked in a house where a customer had made their own loft ladder.
Oh, right, brilliant.
Yeah, and it was a bit... yeah. It was interesting because my dad was a bit heavier than me. I heard him going up it, and then I heard this something like this, as all the treads collapsed underneath. It was a bit like a comedy moment, you know, which, you know...
That's the lampoons
Yeah,
again.
he was you know, using suggestive language at the time, but obviously he couldn't hear because we were laughing. So there you go. But it's not, obviously, it can be, it shouldn't be frivolous, but yeah. Customers' own ladders, DIY ladders, literally DIY ladders. So.
I must admit that the set I had before this were ones they were going to throw away because the bottom tread was ruined. Obviously, everyone stands on the bottom one, they get better as you go up. So I may have trimmed it off a bit in order that I got free. But I was early into my apprenticeship. Like you, Rick, you didn't spend any money on them 100 notes. I got a pair for free, wooden pair of steps. They weren't great. I don't think you've seen my woodwork skills. Obviously, I've improved a lot, but it wasn't great, my trimming up. I wouldn't suggest it.
We've definitely done some woodworking this week as well.
We have done some woodworking this week, yeah. For those carpenters out there, it's absolute doddle. Multi-skilled us too, absolutely. We showed a little bit at the start, didn't we, on the thing, didn't we? We've been crafting a panelled wall this week, haven't we?
Yeah.
It'll be a good video again, safety. All about safety. We like
Yeah.
a bit of safety, don't we?
Yeah.
Safe access.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Safety on those.
Been using the chop saw.
Yes. Yeah.
On the back of the chop saw, there's like this spigot, yeah? Where if you're using it, you put a vacuum cleaner on and it will extract
Didn't have time for that.
the dust
Didn't have
that's
time.
created.
Well, you're sitting upstairs drinking coffee. You know,
Yeah.
we're down there grafting, aren't we, mate?
Yeah.
Trying to be carpenters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awful,
that's
isn't
it, yeah.
So there's now bits of acoustic foam all over the workshop.
It's nothing to worry about.
Wasn't the dust extractor sat virtually
Yeah, it was on
alongside
the floor.
saw? Yeah,
Just
that,
where you spotted it straight
Yeah,
away.
yeah, I must admit.
Yeah, T.
What was that? I don't know.
Yeah, it's those
What's
things
that?
that other trades use to put I haven't seen them before. So that's what we wouldn't know about, mate.
I'm a clue.
Not
All I can say is probably a relief to the world that electricians don't do much joinery. The amount of dust that is now...
We did a good
Probably
job.
why they're electricians then, isn't it?
Yeah.
So top skill, top
Yeah,
skill.
at least-
Well, if you're going to be an electrician, I would suggest the access equipment you're going to use needs to be taken into consideration. We've got looking for EN131 on our access equipment. If tomorrow or when you watch this video on catch-up, you could just drop back in and just give us a comment to say whether you did or didn't find that. It would be just nice from a survey point of view. We are obviously working with Telesteps to encourage them to do a learning content for us. We think it'll be very valuable for everybody in the electrical industry, from those people starting out, those people that are halfway through their journeys, and us electricians that may be not aware of it. And if you've got a carer duty for somebody else in your business, it's certainly something you need to be fully aware of, because if you have a problem, unfortunately that problem will fall at fall at your feet. Yeah, imagine that. Your problem fell at
You
your
got any
feet.
pictures of your wooden steps, Gary?
Yes, I nearly put one in. Yeah, I've got loads of them. I've got them online. Yeah, I've got
right.
me in the living room on them. And yeah, whenever I'm painting and decking, that's the only pair of
The
steps
ones
I've
where
got.
you've trimmed them? Is that
No, I got rid of those. I upgraded them. I managed to find a pair. I don't
got another pair.
No. When we went for fiberglass ones, we had a load of spare wooden ones, didn't we?
Right.
So we all had a
So you
set
pinched
of
them?
Yeah, I borrowed them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never bought myself a proper pair of steps, ever.
I've got one up on you then.
I was going to say,
Yeah, you have never had a proper pair of steps either. That's awful. Yeah. Go up yours. Yeah, mine's all right. They're wooden. Remember, 3 screws and a bolt. You look, I'll bring it. I'll take a photograph. I'll send you it on the WhatsApp. Yeah,
Yeah.
3 screws and a bolt. That's what you have to have on the hinge.
Right.
And have 4 screws.
Can anyone else corroborate Gary's learnings on wooden steps?
Hey, there's nothing I didn't know about wooden steps. I mean, nothing.
So it's interesting, someone else has bought one off Amazon. The instructions came in Chinese.
Right.
And the space between the threads is nearly double the normal. So it's
Yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah.
That's,
But again, they're easy things to do. So I love that one. The 300mm, Rick's is just gone. So you wouldn't even buy that. You'd walk up to it and go, that's not 300mm, that's gone. Okay, the tread being at 75 degrees, and that's pretty cute. But yeah, to be in the perfect place, yeah, great. But the width of a minute, again, yours are microscopic. Imagine it'll be your bolt,
You can feel
balls
it
of your
in
feet.
your feet. Yeah,
You're on those all day
if
long.
you spent any time up like you were doing the electrical work today, spent any time on those, that impact on your feet is really going to hurt, isn't it? Because everything's going to just that little
Yeah,
area.
no weight spreading. No, it's good.
I've only ever used them to get up to do my planters.
Planters.
You're a gardener, are you? Okay. You just didn't want to tell me that, did you? Okay. Yeah, all right. Charlie Dimmock.
Windobox, Rick.
Charlie Dimmock.
Instead of dropping them down.
Look, the Charlie Dimmock of the electrical industry. Look at them, like tank nuts.
Oh dear.
Okay, so that's it. Any more questions to address?
No, people, definitely CPD. People said they've turned up on site and people have asked for evidence that they've had some ladder training.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Again, it's right. I would always say with our CPDs, it's part of the bigger training thing. It's very good as a refresh. I'd always say that, if we did one on, I was saying, working on, I don't know, platforms at height, you probably need
Podiums,
to get... I mean the
right.
scissor lifts.
Right.
Yeah, if we did something on that, yes, it's a good as a refresher. I would suggest if we wanted any extra training, is this something you can offer?
Yeah, there's something which can be done, that's for sure. Yeah, we can offer various training and things probably for yourselves and...
Yeah, because I don't think wholesalers take it that seriously. But Hultafors got their own training centre now. Should be something to put on, isn't it? Yeah, them type of things. We're quick to train you up on how to use the 18th edition and batteries, but actually not a lot else, are they? They don't really take safety as seriously as we do. I would suggest at eFIXX. All right, okay. So I'm just checking my list here. I'm checking it twice. We've got a fantastic exit song, and the exit song is country and western inspired.
Hidden background behind our guests. Gary, as
Oh
well.
yes, we have. Yes, sorry, I apologise, and I wrote that in pen as well.
Yeah.
Dad.
Yes.
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 No longer with us.
No, sadly, been gone about 19 years now.
But he's left a massive legacy.
Yes, yeah, he was one of Britain's strongest men. So he competed against Jeff Capes and come fourth from Britain's Strongest Man. And he is still the world record holder for the greatest number of car tyres ever lifted in a freestanding lift.
2.
No,
I'll tell you, I'm getting there. Oh no! I'm tomorrow. You're going to see me do 3. Okay, okay. So that's so he's actually just showing the.
Yeah, that was just a publicity photograph.
So we're talking 5 or 6 tyres on each arm.
Yeah, roughly. Well, there was 101 car tyres in total, but there was 5 or 6 on each arm, and then they're laced in above him in a freestanding lift, and it totaled 101.
Sorry, I thought you said 101.
It was 101, yeah.
Is that record still stand?
It does, yeah. It still can be found. It's still in the Guinness Book. Many years ago when we met Jeff Capes, because Dad took the record off of Jeff Capes and he was friends with him.
Yeah,
Jeff said...
I throw that in most conversations with my dad when he took the record off.
Yeah, well, Jeff said it was the hardest record that he had ever done, and he said, "You're welcome to it. I never want to." But your body's not designed to take that sort of
101
car
tyres.
tyres, yeah.
No, you see why no one's really had a rip of that again, would you?
No,
Yeah, I mean, that's a massive
you've got to be stupid to be doing that sort of thing.
So training-wise, we're looking at him there. He's obviously a bit like Rick, an athlete. Okay, so what was his regime for training?
He'd done no training whatsoever.
Oh, we got that in common with him, Rick. Hey?
No.
Never saw the inside of a gym?
Farm worker. So back in the day, he was umping bales, bags, that type of stuff. They reckon he was the most naturally strongest man in Great Britain at the time.
Wow.
Never went inside a gym. So yeah, a bit like Rick there.
Like how everybody's chipping in now.
Yeah, but you have. No, I've got. No, I'm going to defend it.
I'll take.
No, let me get in, Wayne. I'm going to defend it there because obviously, yeah, Jim's calf in Skipton has only just shut down, and you've been in there loads of times, haven't you, Jim's Cafe?
I was going
though. He's been inside that
I was going to say, I can imagine any gym which done an all-day breakfast, you would.
I've done the 3 peaks. I had to do a bit of training for that and all.
Yeah, to the club and back.
Well, if I walk from club to get back home, I have to walk uphill.
It's all of half a mile as well, isn't it?
It is.
And how long did it take you to do that?
Well, I went for the ultra thinking, where it's not about the time, it's just making sure you finish it. So about 12 hours.
Okay. He says ultra. That comes back to you. Describe what an ultra marathon is, if I've got the words right.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, I've done 4 of those. Anything basically over 50k, so about 34 miles is what they class as an ultra marathon. So, but as you're right, it's not about the time. It's just about getting to the end. That's all that matters. It's
12 hours.
I did it.
Yeah.
Finished it.
Yeah.
I finished it.
Dragged your back leg over the line. So your dad's given you effectively your sporting pedigree by obviously being a world record breaker. Do you still buy the book or look online to see your dad's name in there?
Now and again,
Yeah.
I've known a few people that have bought the book as a present, especially for my children and that type of stuff. And, you know, look, there's Grandad, because unfortunately my dad passed away before she was really of any age, so she never got to know him.
Is he on YouTube? Can we stumble across him?
Britain's Strongest Man's on YouTube. Yeah, 1981 I think it was when he was competing in that.
So I'd have watched that. I'd have watched your dad.
Yeah.
Because he got the world's best name, no doubt as a small person I would have cheered him on.
I think they announced him as the human crane on that, because he was the first person ever to lift a mini car completely off the ground.
Whoa, hang on. So his nickname's similar to Rick's. The human pain. Okay. Yeah, saying he was the human crane.
Yeah, the human crane.
Explain.
He'd done it for a charity, lifted a car up on a framework. They drove the car on, so it was shown to be in full working order with fuel and a driver. Drove on, he picked the car up, they turned it around 180 degrees, put it back down, and it drove back off again.
He picked the car up.
Yeah.
What, 4 wheels off?
Yeah, all 4 wheels. To be fair, he was in a up on a scaffolding above the car.
So deadlifted it.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And so he lifted the car up, it was spun around, put back down, and drove back off.
And the driver's still in it?
Yeah.
So it's more than a car.
It's kind of man. Wow.
Yeah.
Was that the first person to do that?
Yes, yeah, apparently so.
So again, it doesn't matter how many people do it after that, your dad was the first one to do it?
Yeah.
Oh, how cool's your dad? Oh, how cool is your dad? No, fantastic. And well done for the stuff you've done. I know you've raised a lot of money for, obviously, some of the charities on your wrist as well. Was that through running? Was that the sort of things you were doing?
Yeah, I've done several races and runs. Unfortunately, my son was injured while serving for the British Army, so we've done a few things for Blessemer and people like that, and my daughter is a serving soldier as well now, so yeah.
Wow, you can hear the home, can you? What a great bloke. You've been an amazing guest, got an amazing dad, and obviously 2 amazing kids that have served this country as well. So thank you ever so much. It's been an absolute privilege to have you on the show today, and I've learnt loads. You've learned slightly less than me, because I learn everything, because I can't remember anything from the first time round. It's been amazing. Great product. Okay, obviously people will be wondering how they can get hold of it now. So what if I decided to get myself a new pair of telesteps, what would I have to do?
Get along to your nearest builders merchants, or or any tool wholesale or tool sailor, retailer, and they would be able to get hold of them for you. If they don't stock them, they will probably have them there within 24 hours.
Right, okay. Let's see that.
And you'll be seeing them a lot on the channel. We've got a couple of sets now. We've got a new table, or a podium, as you call it.
I'll be on it at some point. Wait for Christmas again. Yeah, me and Abel, we'll be dancing around on it.
I mean, I had it outside earlier and I lifted it up, so took the chair out, so I had it sliding as a desk, and then I slid it up on another one.
I think we'll be seeing a lot of the podium, a lot of the steps. Yeah, we've got a couple of jobs on at the minute. They'll be coming in straight away, and Gary will be taking the old ones home.
Yeah, well, yes, your Rick ones, they're better than I've got, Rick. Because
I think they need put it through the test.
Yeah, I'll go through them. Yeah, I've lost a lot of weight. Ain't going to be a problem anymore. Wayne, Telesteps, been an amazing guest, amazing family.
Thank you for having me.
For your time today and your education. We'll be back in a fortnight with our next live stream. We're not going back to back this time, so you've got to wait 2 weeks. The end credit music. Anyone who's a Garth Brooks fan will absolutely love this. It's down to the end. And thank you ever so much. If you watched it live, thank you. If you watched it on catch-up, well done for getting to the end.
You saw it online, thought that'll do. A 50 quid ladder in shiny blue. But 1 foot up, now you're straight back down. That bargain deal just gave you a frown. Don't let that ladder take you down. One wrong step and you're hospital bound. Nicky and Wayne brought the truth to town. Get telesteps or kiss the ground. From telescopic tricks to a stable base, they're saving trades from a bruised up face. Why take a risk for a tenner save when Telesteps has a ladder that behaves?